All right, ladies and gents, welcome to the debut of the second season of Titans League. As is the norm with my content, there's an issue in the first 3 seconds there. I just moved the image at the bottom right for you. This is going to be a fun series, as will all the sets, hopefully. Quick little reminder on kind of how Titans League works for those of you that haven't been following. So you've got 24 players in the Platinum group. This is the highest group in the whole world. And then there's also a Gold League that's running simultaneously below it. The bottom 2 of each group of 6 players from Platinum are going to be relegated to Gold for the next season. And then the top 2 from Gold are going to move on to Platinum. And that rotation continues. Here in Platinum, as we see both players looking to find some additional sheep, as we have a new map pool for the season, obviously. Here in Platinum, you get $40 per victory, as well as placement prizes for moving on out of the group stage and such. So basically, it's a good opportunity for players to get more cash in their pockets, right? $40 per win is not a bad deal at all for playing a 23-year-old game. But then again, the prestige of a normal tournament where you have the quarterfinals onwards to the finals later on. Each game matters, okay? So the most important thing is how many wins you have at the end of the groups, and you play everyone in your group 3 times, regardless of how good or bad those games end up looking for you. Ganji was a player who was first in his group in Gold Season 1, a player from Sweden, one of the few high-level players from Sweden. And so he comes in here as the underdog. Many might say he might be favored to get relegated back down to the Gold League for the next season. We'll see. Like, that's going to be the interesting thing is, will the players who got promoted simply get relegated back down to the bottom? It's always that type of conversation. So we've got Ganji playing as the Franks. We've got Jordan playing as the Hindustanis, which is a really good matchup for the Hindustanis, I feel. And the map is Ghost Lake here. A couple things to mention about Ghost Lake. It's one of 5, or it could be 6 maps. Forgive me for not knowing the exact number, but of new maps that have been brought in for this season. So we still have some of the favorites, some of the standard maps, you could say, that will be in this pool as compared to the first season. But this is a new map. It's winter for me. Doesn't really feel like winter where I live, excuse me, but I wanted it to feel very wintry. So we have a couple snow maps. But yeah, anywho, and shoot, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, so we based this version off the ladder version of DE. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the ladder version of Ghost Lake on Definitive Edition, but as always, we tweaked a lot of things because we found the ladder version is just not so good in some areas. So what we did was we maintained the consistency that the main goal is always bordering the ice. I actually really like that because Ghost Lake is usually a pretty wall-heavy map and a pretty defense-heavy map. So that changes that aspect. But we did some general balancing with the wood line, so there's not quite as much wood to wall between. Like sometimes we had instances where like Jordan would have like 2 more wood lines here and then a wood line here, and it would be more like Black Forest for him. The other thing we did is we lessened the amount of sheep in the middle. So there are extra sheep, and you can see Jordan got the better of that whole little hunt, you could say. But there's not quite as much as DE has. I think it's 8. Actually, you know what? I think I gave the feedback to the DE devs, and they lessened what they had before. They used to have like 16 in the middle. Anyways, I think we have 8 additional sheep in the middle. As I'm looking at Jordan's face, I'm like suddenly questioning that. Maybe it's just something that maybe I missed a few things here. I mean, there still seems to be a lot of sheep. And so that's why I was thinking maybe Britons or Gujaras could be solid picks. Maybe Tatars. I saw some practice matches recently where we saw Tatars. But neither of these civilizations really actually have a sheep bonus. So kind of interesting to see these picks here. I was not expecting it based on their draft. All right. Yeah, Britons was on the draft board for Jordan, but he didn't end up going for Britons here. He also had Gujaras as well, so must be saving those civilizations for later. Anyways, apologies as well if I'm still sounding a little bit under the weather. Doing my best, but I'm almost over this cold, so I'm pretty happy with where things are at right now. So both players going for a scout build. Jordan will be faster. Jordan trying to stop the deer from being brought in here, and at the moment, Jordan has more scout HP. He will also reach feudal age faster, so Ganji, you might want to be careful here. Like, going up 20 pop with all this food is actually a bit slower than you would normally expect. So I think Jordan's just going to simply try and find that scout. He's not expecting Ganji will be running out across the map, though, so Jordan might not be lucky enough to find it. That would have given him a couple extra hits. There's the barracks for Ganji. And there's the barracks for Jordan. Things looking pretty clean for Jordan here, considering it's 19 pop. And he won't need to seed farms for a long time, too. So I think the timing should be fine for Ganji, though. Obviously, game 1. Ganji's no stranger to playing versus Jordan. Actually, it was, I think, a Red Bull qualifier where Ganji beat Jordan in a best of 3. Now, that was Empire Wars. But those that really follow the competitive scene will remember that series. And I actually was not casting that. I was actually out on a little pontoon boat with friends. And I got told multiple times, stop looking at your phone. But I was like, is Ganji going to beat Jordan? I got to find out, you know? So, and then I promptly drank a little bit too much after that. But yeah, it was a really exciting time for him. And we have another opportunity here for Ganji to maybe get the best of Jordan. As far as playstyle goes, like Ganji can play more than standard. I think the thing that separates Ganji from maybe some other players that will be playing in Platinum is he has some good what we call clown strategies down. So like he can play standard, but he picked Arena, for example, and he picked Portuguese first. So I think he's going to be going for some funky stuff there. But every single player in Platinum and Gold as well can play standard. Like you simply cannot be in the top 50 of the world if you can't play standard. But you know, there might be a few exceptions in Gold. Maybe something to talk about once we cover some Gold matches, which we will be doing. You can already see the farms are coming out here for Ganji. I wouldn't consider that as a big negative for him, though. I mean, you do get horse color for free with the Franks. Farms is your long-term choice anyways. And Ganji's played really safe so far, as has Jordan. And so they both opened with scouts, but, you know, it does seem like it's going to be more defensive play from here. The thing that's weird for Ganji, though, is his golds are all exposed here. So he's not going to be able to take his gold easily, especially if Jordan goes for a bit of an archer switch. But let's see what Jordan sees. I mean, Jordan can see that. He doesn't know about this gold, which Ganji does know about. But Ganji's walling really close to his TC right now. Not really trying to use this control to wall this area, for example. In all fairness, he hasn't scouted that yet. But like walling that and taking the back gold would have allowed him to just stay on stable units and ease his way towards knights later. And Jordan may be thinking about that now. He's going to gold. This is a little bit earlier than you would normally see. So that would tell me that Jordan wants to drop a range. And easy as you like. Both players just chilling out here. Jordan moving forward now because he's secured his walls. He's bringing his spearmen to the middle. Ganji thinking about the same. He's almost completely walled now. And now he will be. And this will be a race to Castle Age for sure. Are all maps 3-ville starts? Yes. It's all standard Age of Empires 2 settings. And maps are... We've removed Houseboat from this season's pool, so there's less... If you consider Houseboat gimmicky, is a little less gimmicky as well, I guess you could say. But yeah, like this is a problem, man. And Ganji could have... I mean, obviously, it's awkward. But he could have actually done something to prevent this from being as awkward with walling this direction and this direction, like we said. He did scout the gold in the back. I'll be curious to see what Jordan chooses to do now. Jordan sees that gold. We have 0 kills, 0 deaths. Jordan did get a couple pokes in on the scouts of Ganji. Ganji's going to probably run away from this, but there's always a chance he doesn't. He's never expecting to get in there. And, ooh, that's sloppy. Oh, God, this is really bad. It's okay. It's not really bad, but it just is a little sloppy from him as he's now concerned. And he's dropped the outpost there. So I think the main thing that Jordan's benefited from in this game, first off, he forgot his blacksmith. Yikes. He didn't add the range, by the way. He forgot his blacksmith, so that's going to hurt his time a little bit. But, you know, Jordan just had a couple extra sheep. He also produced 1 less scout, and also his villagers are cheaper. What do they save? Like, is it 40 food per villager in Feudal Age for the Hindustanis? I actually forget. I think it is 40, because I think they get a Dark Age discount. I know they do, so I think it's 45 in Dark Age. I think it's 40 then in Feudal. And so you'd have to do the math on how many villagers he created. What did he went up 19 pops, so that's what, 12 vills? So I'm trying to think 12 times 10. And then plus the extra sheep. I mean, all those things kind of add up to having a slightly faster castle age, I guess. Jordan's going to add more scouts here. And I think we might actually see cav archers from him. He's adding the range now, but the range is delayed enough where making regular archers wouldn't make sense. And I really like the decision because Ganji, like, the thing about the Hindustanis is they can kind of do everything. Like, cav archers are really strong for them. They have the camels, which attack 20% faster, which neutralizes night civs. And then they have the Gulam, which is an anti-archer unit. Like, this is why I said this civilization. So what we did for this season is we added 2 global bans for both players. And I literally said, I'm kind of sick of seeing certain civilizations. We changed it up so certain civs can't be relied on. And then I saw that Ganji didn't ban Hindustanis. And so this could be a problem. Like, you're just always trying to guess what the civ could do. The civ can do everything really well, right? So I think Ganji could be in trouble if he doesn't get his TC up. He's clearly prepping for some type of camel play from Jordan. Is not going to be camels. Actually, I'm not even sure what it's going to be from Jordan. He's not even committing to the second range. Ganji lost 3 units this game. He hasn't killed a single one. Did make an outpost here, which means he can't go for 2 TCs right away because you need 200 stone to do that. Will he regret not banning the Hindustanis? I forget what civs he banned. But Jordan had first pick, so you go 2 bans and into Jordan getting that first pick. And there's the TC instantly. Why is Cav Archer strong for Hindustanis? Isn't it just generic and they don't even get Parthian or bonus for CA? They get full blacksmith upgrades. They have cheap vills to boom with it. I mean, it's not like... There's a lot of civilizations where Cav Archers are generic, but it's still a good option, right? Like Japanese Cav Archers, though I guess they get a couple more upgrades. I have to say, though, I'm not a big fan of Jordan only going 1 range for Cav Archers. It's very passive. I'm surprised he's done that. He hasn't committed for map control at all. Love the TC position from Ganji. And he's also TCing his woodline back here, and I like how he deleted the walls and placed it. Yeah, Mystery Moose, I heavily disagree. The vills being cheaper in each age was a solid eco bonus before the Hindustanis received, like, 5 buffs from going from Indians to Hindustanis. I don't want to change... I would personally not want to see any changes to the vills. That was always really good. Cav Archers now with 2 ranges from Jordan, so that's looking a little bit better. It is important to note that the stone is here, and then the stone is here for Ganji, because when you're thinking Franks, you're thinking eventually getting a lot of castles up, right? We have a monastery opening here from Ganji, who knows it's Cav Archers at this point. And he's scouting the rest of the map. He could see this gold too. That's going to be a talking point, as well as this one. Those are neutral golds. And to what somebody had just mentioned in my chat, I think forward siege is not actually a great strategy on this map because you cannot build on the ice. Otherwise, certainly, like lots of open space, forward siege against the TC, but it's actually less viable due to that fact. Nice work here from Ganji. It's kind of funny, though. He killed a villager there, actually. Well played. But it's funny to me how the Cav Archers were standing right next to the TC. And there was a flag on the TC, but there were no arrows because spearmen don't actually help out with any additional arrows. It's just kind of an awkward scenario you don't see too frequently. And Jordan's going to have a lot of map control, right? And for Ganji, he opened with the monastery first. Oftentimes, it's a decision of do you go monastery or do you go siege workshop? Fortunately for him, he's not going to lose too many of his knights. Here he is going to lose one most likely. But he runs back, and you can see the Lord's face. We're not going to see the Lord play today, I don't think. Might see him on Saturday, but excited to see what he can do in Titans League Season 2. Ganji's still looking to lock down the rest of his gold. And just under a lot of pressure from Jordan. But, you know, not only forward siege workshops are awkward, but forward castles end up being awkward as well, right? So it's not like Jordan can use this control and drop a castle here. He would have to drop it more along the lines of here. This will likely be a dead monk, but the monk does get a relic. Jordan will probably be happy with that, though. You can't stop your opponent from getting all the relics, as he is currently with his monastery, and he's hoping to get as many relics as possible. Is the schedule of the order of the game somewhere? It's on the Discord. You'd have to look in the Discord. The games are scheduled. We've got 12 sets happening each week in each league. So 24 sets a week. And it's impossible for me to like have that like a graphic made. It's just within the Discord. JBR makes a post all the time. But I can certainly talk about what's going to be happening today. Today we've got Ganji Jordan. After that we have Dark versus Yo. And then we have 2 other sets. I think Vinchester running, and then one more I'm forgetting at the moment. But I think the problem still exists for Ganji here, just locking down these golds. Like, that has been a consistent issue for him in this game. He does have nice Scorpion numbers, though, and he's making some more monks, and he's making more stables so he can make more knights. Let's look at resources collected so far this game. Ganji is ahead, and he's ahead with the food. Remember, we talked about the importance of farms with Franks. Ganji's done a really good job with that. And I love the fact that he's been on this stone. And I think if Jordan were to lose this game, that will be something he'll regret. Like, there's no reason why he can't be denying this stone and heading to this stone, right? And say we've got the knights, we've got the scorpions. We have +2 armor now for Ganji, who is committing more and more towards knights. He's adding even another stable now. So this is something that could get a little awkward for Jordan because he still only has 11 cav archers. So, like, the question is going to be, how effective are cav archers going to be in that number? Notice how he's switching back into camels, which is not bad. But he maxed out on upgrades, at least with the attack for the cav archers. Well, maxed out is the wrong way of saying it. He got good upgrades. But he just stopped, and now he's committing back towards camels. Obviously, a great combination to have cav archers and camels, but Jordan might need more numbers in both, and he might need more of those upgrades. As Ganji, I think, is going to try and get a castle up here. Jordan, by the way, camping on that relic with a weak scout. We'll have to see if Ganji noticed that. And Jordan really wanting to control the map. If there's something to describe Jordan's plays, like, very controlled. He doesn't take a lot of risks. He's happy to just control the map, mass army, and take this to late game here. That camel should be deleted by Jordan. Really good play from him there because camel just doesn't do enough damage. Castle there from Ganji is interesting. So we know Ganji doesn't need that castle right there. He could have actually gone for this castle. Oh, that scout's taking out farms here. Ganji's got to delete those farms. That's 60 wood down the drain. That's funny. Got to delete more farms too. I think that one was deleted. And okay, now the scout goes down. But that scout there. Oh, man. That scout with an assist and a half here. No way. It's the small things in this game. We're featuring Blink 182 over here, man. Oh, man. That must be so frustrating for Ganji. You try and delete a couple farms, which is actually pretty time-consuming, and then you have to replace the farms. And then your Scorpions are out of position because of it. Obviously, he's not going to go for heavy Scorpion or anything, but it would have been helpful, I think, to have those Scorpions combined with the Knights, because he's going for full Castle Age upgrades, or at least was considering it. I think for Ganji, he was thinking about going all in to push Jordan, but now he's thinking better of it. And there's still a big question, like, what do you do against this composition from Jordan? I honestly, I don't see a world where Jordan doesn't always have the best composition. Jordan's also going to have 3 relics, and he's being so bold as to TC this gold, even though he has vision on this one as well, and even has the scout up there. And this is just an awful matchup for Franks. Hindustanis do not have bad matchups. And if you go into hand cannons, the Hindustani, or sorry, if you go into Halbs, the Hindustanis have hand cannons, and they also can continue with cav archers. And that might not look like the best trade for Jordan, but that's actually pretty good, I think. It could have been better, though. I mean, Franks are Franks. I guess, like, the Scorpions, maybe the Castle Fire there. So this is a really big mess underneath Ganji's town center. He's going to have to fix that, and we'll actually see. I mean, maybe there's a time window here. I looked at some of the stats from the Hindustanis since they became the Hindustanis the other day, and I almost barfed. The pick rate, play rate, win rate, everything's just insane. So, you know, I go into that in my mind, and that affects me as a caster, right? There's a sense of inevitability about certain situations in this game, whether that be like castles on certain types of hills, or, you know, even just engagements civ versus civ. But the KD says that this is still a pretty close game, as we see a couple knights head over this way for Ganji, desperate for some counter-attacking. And Jordan comes over here to deny this stone. Now, there is the other stone there for Ganji. Hindustanis also destroy buildings faster with the cavalry, so the houses will actually go down pretty quickly. And Jordan got a conversion there with that monk. He did lose it. I'm not sure if you guys spotted it, but there was one there. And now Jordan is forcing a house down behind this. And these 2 camels are actually going to end up destroying this house, and this could lead to dead villagers for Ganji, who still is just backed up into a corner here. And it feels like he's always a couple steps behind. Precisely what Jordan would want, obviously. And Jordan runs in here. And for Ganji, he just doesn't know what to do, right? Does not know what to do. Jordan's going to need to leave now after killing a few villagers. But I think the most important thing about this is just the positioning of the castle. Like, I'm a little surprised Jordan isn't leaving. But yeah, this castle being here is never what Ganji would have wanted. He would have wanted the castle to secure more of the map. Ooh, Knights did get in back here, though. Nice job from Ganji, evening out the scores with the villager KD. Here we go. Danny Lopez says, why is Jordan playing Silver League? What about this makes you think this is Silver League, my friend? We're in Platinum League. Things are moving very fast. Also, I should probably change this to say play, like spell out play all. I think some people might not know what that is. Jordan is going to go Cav Archers, as we maybe expected him to do, right? He's got 12 Cav Archers. The numbers could be an issue, but he's still got the camels to back it all up. He's got 3 relics. Could be 3-2 if Ganji were to get this one. And Ganji wants to go maybe Halb Paladin as his long term. As we have Jordan dropping a castle here. I really like the Cav Archer choice because it's much faster than hand cannons. And also you can't go hand cannons until after chemistry, so it allows you to create units at this stage of the game. Yet again, calculated from Jordan there as he hits Imp. Let's see, does Ganji know about this gold down here? He does. He also knows about this gold, which Jordan's also going to go to. So long-term gold income will be better for Jordan as long as the positions stand. And Jordan actually canceled... maybe I'm wrong, actually. I don't think he canceled Bracer. But initially, I was thinking he was going to go for that first, and he's actually going to go for Heavy Camel and Plate Barding. I like that because those upgrades take way longer than Bracer. And, you know, Bracer is helpful enough on its own. We have Halb first for Ganji. Ganji's probably going to start branching out here with the cap. That's the way to do it. Just like 1 or 2 knights around to see what Jordan's doing. And Jordan also went for Light Cav, which tells me he's thinking about raiding. Obviously, Light Cav doesn't cost gold, right? I think you have to go Paladin Halb. Like, that's your only win condition. Skirmishers are bad for Franks. You can't go for that route. I think it's like castles everywhere, Paladin Halb, and hope for the best. This is going to be a really important castle if it goes up. I want to see if Jordan spots that at all. He will be able to see that foundation. Ganji could wall it in, but he doesn't know he's been spotted. And he's trying to look around here. Little surprised he didn't head over to that gold. Here he's hitting a wood line. Here Jordan's defending from this. Jordan will spot this, though. Something Ganji could probably still complete if he were to send a couple units over there. Again, really surprised that Ganji hasn't gone to that gold. He did scout that. And Jordan's army mass is looking pretty crazy here. 35 camels. He's got 60 army right now. And they have pretty much the same vill count right now. Oh, God. This is no bueno. Oh, man. That's so bad for Ganji. Feels like that castle had to go up for him to have a chance here, right? He doesn't have a lot of extra stone income. He still could complete it, but this gives Jordan time to assess the situation and figure things out. Had no army to back it up. Jordan reacted pretty nicely there with the tower and a couple camels. And oh boy, we've got villagers. Where'd they come from? I guess they looped around the wood line. And as long as Ganji patrols the Halbs this way, he will actually complete this castle. It's sloppy, it's messy, it hurts. I think he's going to put a lot more food into creating more villagers that he would have wanted to creating army. But the castle will go up and Jordan's going to have to leave this area for a moment. But think about it, from Jordan's perspective, he's just maxing out on upgrades. You do get heavy Cav Archer with the Hindustanis. So like I said, like I think someone earlier was mentioned like why is Cav Archers good? Well, it's just I guess it's because combination with their economy and everything else, right? They have the ability to go for really good Cav Archers. It's not I guess maybe really good is the wording that had bothered that individual. I guess generic is still what they might be. But there's a lot of civs that cannot go for Bloodline Cav Archers with Heavy Cav Archer and Bracer and Chemistry and full Blacksmith upgrades. A lot of civs cannot do that. Indians can do that. Or Hindustanis, excuse me. Jordan did actually collect the majority of this gold. And now we have Imp Camel as well. Yeah, this is just... I do not think that this is a winnable game for Ganji. Jordan has known it. He's controlled the game. He has superior relics. He has superior gold control. He's taken no risks whatsoever. And I think the only thing for Jordan that's going to be a little awkward is just 2 Cav over here just waiting. He might be looking to castle this hill. So we'll see if maybe that gets denied. But you'd need to have Paladin to have a chance here. And even still, I think you have some problems. And for Ganji, he's been playing catch-up for a bit here. And yeah, there's going to be the Castle Foundation. Ganji's just left those units there. He's not paying attention to them. He's done that because he wants to... Like, he wants those Cavalier to, like, kill villagers if they head over to the stone at some point. So it's very common to leave 1 or 2 units on a resource as you worry about everything else. Yeah, I think you have to try Paladin here, right? Now, I also love how Jordan isn't showing Imp Camel to his opponent. It's really interesting, right? He's hid that. He's waited for 4 trebs as well. Everything's so calculated. Even going for Siege Engineers. Jordan is looking amazing right now. And game number 1, Platinum League. Jordan, what place did he get in the first season? I forget now. Was it 3rd? Or was it 4th? Or was it 2nd? I remember it was a really weird instance because you had like Viper, Jordan, Doubt. Now, I think Jordan ended up getting 2nd. There was an important... or did Doubt get 2nd? Shoot. Anyways, Jordan obviously stayed alive. And finally, now Ganji's able to get to that gold. He was 2nd place. Yeah. So Jordan had a good showing in the first season. In a very competitive group with a lot of his teammates. Remember, went down to the final series there to determine his spot. And holy trebs from Ganji. 7 trebs? He loses his castle. And look at the beauty of the Cav Archers. It's just so easy for them to pick off those halbs. They have the mobility to run away as well. And I think if you're Ganji, you're pretty close to a point where you've just got to take a fight soon once Paladin kicks. Great job from Jordan. Do not trickle treb. The #1 lesson I'm always trying to teach. And if you ask Jordan, he would definitely say he learned that from me. I taught him everything he knows. Okay, YouTube. Small edit here. This is where the title of the video comes in. Watch the top left. Watch the villager count. This is an intentional move. Things get crazy. The reason Ganji would have gone for 7 trebs is because he knows he's on the clock. So he's hoping to wait to like surprise Jordan with Paladin, take a fight, and then treb down everything right behind it. 7's still a lot more than you normally see, but he's probably just queuing up everything he can. We're going to have a fully popped battle here. I kind of like how Ghost Lake is, it feels like this is the battlefield, you know? It's very unique that there's no obstruction, there's no hills. It's just a battle to the death. And here we go, Imp Camels versus Cav Archers in T90 Titans League. Jordan pulling the camels away. Really well done, too, because the majority of the halbs are on this side. Those trebs are going forward. Ganji feels like he has to win this fight. Otherwise, it's a problem. It's actually not the worst fight I've ever seen. Because he's getting a big clear up over here. And all of a sudden, Jordan, he's focusing on the treb numbers. Ganji's trebs, they still need support. But don't tell me that Ganji's actually going to do this. Oh my god. This would be sick, man. The 7 trebs are paying off now. Or I guess it's 6. 200 pop for Ganji. Jordan, he's trying to get hand cannons out, but he's not making camels anymore. A thing to mention here is Jordan did go for an all-gold composition. He is making a few hussars, but for the most part, all of his units have cost gold. Oh my goodness. Ganji, deathmatch style, pushing Jordan. And if he makes a castle there and trebs down the ranges, he might actually be able to do that. I think he will do this. He needs every ounce of gold that's remaining sent into Paladins, though, because, you know, the halbs, they're actually not needed as much as the Paladins. But, oh my god, this is amazing. The relics are also right here. Remember this, by the way, guys. If it comes to a conversation on the final weeks of Ganji getting like 3rd or 4th or 5th place or Jordan, whatever placement, every single game matters. We had so many instances in the first season where there was 1 or 2 games that decided important placements. And I think Ganji's just about to do this. Still 25 Paladins. Jordan lost all of his camels. And, oh, he's going to lose all of his Trebs over here as well. Unbelievable. Ganji turning things around. And, you know, casters everywhere, myself included, obviously, talking about the Hindustanis this, Hindustanis that. Where are my people who say Franks are OP? Where are my Frank pickers? Franks might not be new, but there's still Franks. Holy crap. Jordan probably can't believe it right now. I mean, he's completely dead, by the way. He's completely dead. There's no way to come back from this. He will lose all of his castles. He will lose all of his villagers. It's 60 army versus 4. Dang. What in the world, man? Was Jordan too distracted with the Trebs, or was his army too expensive? Those are certainly things to talk about here. But Ganji, the player who surprised everyone by winning his group in gold with 13 or 14 wins, yet again gets an important win against Jordan in the tournament. And we have 2 more games, obviously. Those games will be played regardless. But what a start to Titans League, man. That is an amazing start. This is the point, guys. The whole point is to have players who can get promoted and say, hey, I'm with the big boys now. Look at me, you know? Sick. Oh, man, that actually gave me some chills there, to be honest with you. Jordan collected more resources in this game. So, and I felt like he had a good approach. So the question is, what went wrong? I think a couple things. I think Jordan, it doesn't suit his style, but he could have actually been more aggressive in early Castle Age against his TC. He could have been more aggressive with the Cav Archers on these woodlines. Remember, he went real eco-heavy instead of adding the numbers. I don't necessarily think that that approach was wrong, by the way. I think that that's just Jordan's style, and it's a boomy map, so that's completely fine. But I think in terms of the fight, I think the concern for him was he was hesitant to pull back for whatever reason. Like, he initially had really good micro. Let's see. Let's go back to the fight. Okay, so here's this engagement. So he's got units in queue and all that stuff. That's good. So let's look. So initially the engagement's good, but he has mobility with his army, right? So I think he was just thinking, I have heavy CA and Imp Camel. I can never lose. And so he took a fight that he thought would be good enough, and then he would win the game from there because he has more gold. I'm pretty sure that was in his mind. But let's look at it again. Sorry, I can't find it. Okay, so initially it was good micro to pull the camels to the side. So you're going to see it right here. Pulls the camels away. See, this is perfect. The start to the fight's perfect. But then he gets psyched out by the Trebs. And the Cav Archers don't pull back, and the camels don't pull back. I think if he pulls back here, and pulls back here, and just re-patrols into the fight, I think he takes a better engagement. But he lost his camel mass because he was just fighting up against Halbs, and his Cav Archers, they focused down the Trebs. So it was like, that's also the beauty of, the main thing I want to say is, like, that's the beauty of how Ganji played this, because you show up with Trebs and you're like, hey, I'm going to kill you right now, and then people make some weaker decisions. I do think Jordan would have actually been okay there. Also, like, the hand cannon switch, I think, is unnecessary if you're going for Cav Archers, so I think you, like, decide on one or the other, but I think that was besides the point, because, like, a minute later, he had lost his entire base, and he was down to, you know, lower army numbers, so that was impressive. Also, check this out, guys. Check this out. I want to show you this, because this is such an epic play that I couldn't point out in the moment. Watch this. 132 Vils. 132 Vils. 108 Vils. So Ganji realized he did not get raided, okay? He realizes he's on the clock, and he's got units in queue. Normally, you want to stay at like 125, 130 Vils. I don't know when it happens, but let's look for it in his base. He deletes pop, like there. He just, look, boom, villagers killed. So he deletes 20 pop, and if not a little bit more, and then his army count could go up to like 90 during that fight. That was such a sick move, dude. You don't see that every day. Ganji with the next level strategies wins the first game of Titans League Season 2. Obviously pockets himself $40, which is great. And then we'll move on to game number 2. Thanks again, everybody, for watching this cast. If you didn't hear in the video, this was actually part of a full series. And what I typically do is I have the best individual games go to the YouTube channel. That way you know if this video goes up, it's going to be a banger. And then the full series I will have on my second YouTube channel, which is called T90 Extras. We make it really simple for you, though. Anytime I do this, in the description, there's a link that you can click if you want the full thing. So, once again, if you want the full thing, check the link in the description, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching, guys.